Welcome back to the Open Page. In this episode, we follow up on our previous segment and continue our journey into Pakistan's women's Urdu digests. But this time, we're looking beyond the famous serialized novels and dramatic love stories. Because hidden between those pages was something even more intimate: a community, a conversation, a mirror of women's everyday lives. For decades, magazines like Khawateen Digest, Shua, Pakiza, Kiran, and Anchal Digests were not just magazines. They were emotional spaces where women sought advice, shared secrets, discussed heartbreak, and even found their literary voices. And in many homes, these digests became trusted companions long before social media existed. One of the most fascinating sections in Urdu digests was the letters to the editor. In sections like Behnon Ki Mehfil, readers wrote openly about their lives: troubled marriages, strict parents, in-law conflicts, loneliness, educational dreams, and emotional struggles. These weren't celebrity confessions. They were ordinary women speaking honestly in a society where many emotions remained private. And the responses mattered. Editors replied with empathy, religious guidance, and moral advice. The tone was really harsh. Instead, it felt maternal, almost therapeutic. In a way, these pages functioned like early support networks for women. Today, many people turn to online forums and anonymous social media accounts, but decades ago, many Pakistani women turned to digest columns. These letters transformed the digest from a publication into a participatory community. And they also reveal something sociologically important: the anxieties of Pakistan's middle-class women. Marriage pressure, family honor, emotional silence, the burden of compromise. The same themes appeared again and again. Then came the famous advice sections, often titled Aapke Masail or Mashwara. Women asked deeply personal questions. How do I deal with an unfair mother-in-law? Should I continue my education after marriage? How do I manage emotional neglect? Can a working woman still be considered a good wife? The answers usually emphasized patience, modesty, and moral behavior. Critics argue these columns reinforced traditional gender roles by encouraging women to adapt rather than resist. And yes, the criticism is valid, but we should also recognize another reality. For many women, especially in conservative households, these columns provided one of the few accessible forms of emotional guidance available. The digests became unofficial counselors. Another beautiful element of digest culture was poetry. Between stories and advice columns, readers encountered ghazals, nazms, and short lyrical pieces about love, loss, spirituality, memory, and longing. For many young readers, digest poetry became their first introduction to Urdu literary aesthetics. It connected popular culture with classical poetic traditions. And perhaps this mixture explains why digest culture became so powerful. It combined emotion, morality, literature, religion, and everyday survival in one affordable monthly publication. These magazines taught recipes and skincare tips alongside heartbreak and spirituality. They reflected a complete worldview. And then there were the writers. Names like Razia Bhatt, Umaira Ahmed, Farid Ishtiyaq, Nimra Ahmed, and Sumaira Hamid became literary celebrities through digest fiction. Take an example of Bano, which first appeared in a serialized form before becoming culturally iconic. And many digest stories later evolved into blockbuster television dramas watched across Pakistan and beyond. In many ways, today's Pakistani drama industry owes a creative debt to digest culture. But digest culture has also changed. Social media, digital fiction apps, and streaming platforms have transformed reading habits. Younger audiences consume stories differently now. Yet digest fiction survives. Why? because its emotional language still resonates. Even today, writers are exploring newer themes: mental health, cyber harassment, migration, identity crisis, and changing gender expectations. The form evolves, but the emotional connection remains. And perhaps that tells us something timeless about story itself. People don't only read for entertainment, they read to feel understood. Women's Urdu digests are often dismissed as light reading, but inside these magazines are archives of emotional history, records of how women loved, endured, dreamed, and negotiated everyday life in Pakistan. They captured voices that formal literary institutions often ignored. And maybe that is their greatest achievement. Not perfection, not revolution, but recognition. A recognition that ordinary women's emotions, struggles, and desires were worthy of being written down. You've been listening to The Open Page with Sonia. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most important cultural histories are not written in official records, but hidden inside worn-out magazine pages passed quietly from one reader to another.